Good to see everybody. Welcome once again to the Floativerse, known as the world of float. Um, Good evening and welcome to another edition of Step Chat. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Steve Jones. I am the executive producer of Float. As always, with me is Roscoe. Let's hold on one second. Let me get this going here. So that's all down. Hello, Dina. You beat Matt. Ha ha ha. There you go. Hello, Debbie Levy. Good to see you. There we go. All the Matt, you're the third person tonight. So there you go. Let's give everybody a very important update here. Yes, for those of you wondering what's up with the SCO, there he is. What's up, dude? You can tell that he is just absolutely riveted by being here tonight. So there you go. Yes, Roscoe is being Roscoe. So there you have it. Let's see here. Yes, I am recording. I am not an hour early. It is 6 p.m. Pacific time here in the Pacific Northwest. It is the time change. I don't. Do they not do the? They don't do the time change there in Australia. I don't know. Hello, Corrine. Good to see you. Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. Other than that, though, I hope everybody. It seems like just about everybody I've talked to has been ridiculously busy this week with work, and I'm glad for you. That's not been our case, but I'm glad for you. We being here in the Pacific Northwest, we're on the left coast, so basically you're talking California, Oregon, and Washington State. And historically, we don't. Well, I shouldn't say historically, but our state governments are very much under still heavy lockdown, kind of speak. So while the rest of the country is reopening, and while the rest of the country is experiencing, the boom that we expected to come after all this was over, we are still waiting for that to happen. It'll be interesting to see what I mean. We're for us, it hasn't happened yet. I'm hoping. There are signs of hope and optimism. We've had some interesting stuff go down, and yeah, it's good. Hello, Miss Stephanie. Good to see you. Hello, Angela. Nice to see you. Panada. Hello there. Hello from Thailand. Good to see you. How are you? Thank you for joining us. I said I think this is the first time you've joined us before, so welcome. Nice to have you. Hello, Dory. Good to see you. So I'm kind of hoping. I'm a little optimistic. I'm hoping that things pick up soon. But yeah, it's not been in the last, it's a week, the end of a weekend. Now, historically, Sundays are kind of hit or miss here at the shop, or whether or not people actually show up. Hello, Hannah True. But I can honestly tell you, yesterday was dead as a doornail. Now, mind you, it was also, we had 60 something degree weather yesterday, which is just, for here, it's like, oh, and yeah, so not a single person came in this place yesterday. Well, one person did. One person. But other than that, it was completely dead. So hello, Victoria. Good to see you. Hello, Mr. Lewis. Good to see you. Yeah. Actually, well, Matt, it's funny. Matt Lewis says it'll be gradual until people feel more confident in spending. I don't know. From what I've been seeing from other parts of the U.S., they're slammed. They can't keep up. So I don't know if that's the case or not, or people are just fed up with COVID restrictions and now they're like, boom. So yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know exactly what's happening right now, but there you go. So as of right now, I'd like to I've got a list of stuff to go over tonight, so let's go over it. First of all, on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the Float Foundation is offering our first ever free class. That is for anyone even just pre-registered for Float 2022. So that class is Supercharge Your Website with Jeff Kelly from Asset Lab, who is a sponsor of Float. He is also the guy who's done my personal business website. He's getting ready to redo the Float website, and he does the website for 1 Million Bubbles. So that's all. He's the guy that does all that fun stuff. So he's going to be teaching the class on supercharging your website. That is free of charge to anyone who is currently either fully paid or partially paid for Float 2022. So if you are not in the system, so to speak, if you haven't put any money in the game, then you're not going to get an invite. For those of you that have at least pre-registered for Float, you were sent an email on Thursday. So check your spam, check your bulk, check your promotions, search your email for info@floatconvention.com, and follow the instructions in the email for Tuesday. Okay. So, and yeah, I didn't realize that my Zoom account actually allows up to 500 people. So we've got no problem getting everybody in there, and we're good to go. Okay. So, yeah, there's that. So that is going to be on Tuesday. It's at 3 p.m. Pacific time here in the US. If you receive the email, then there's an actual, there's a location link in there that you can actually find out what time it is where you are. So in other words, it'll show you what time it is in Washington State in Seattle. So in other words, if whatever time it is where you are, you click on it, it'll tell you what time it is in Washington State, and then that'll allow you to figure out what time you need to be on the call. Keep in mind a couple things here. There we go, just keeping an eye on that. Keep in mind, yes, there is a replay option on the class. Like always, you get 4 weeks of replay absolutely free. You're not paying for the class anyway, so that's absolutely free. And yes, those of you that have been asking, yes, you do get the $5 option as well. So when the class is over, if you want to keep a permanent copy of the class, it's $5, but you'll get that for a week. It's the same as it always is. And the email that you received on Thursday has the complete timeline in it. Okay. It's got the date of the class. It's got when the replay is available. It's got your $5 option. All of that's there. So just all you got to do. What was that? Read the email, right? Also, make sure that you're checking the email that you registered for Float with. It is amazing the number of people that check every email address they have except the one they use to register for Float. So make sure you do that. And I'm also happy to share with you that at the end of Jeff's class on Tuesday, we'll be announcing our instructor for April. So I'm very pleased about that as well. That was actually confirmed today. So I'm very excited about that. All right. Now, I promise that we have a new contest coming your way. And that's absolutely true. And tonight I'm going to give you some details on it because it's official. So I am now going to do a little screen sharing here. Hold on one second. Let me get that up. Let me get to my screen sharing option. There we go. And ladies and gentlemen, here we, oh, that was there. Silly me. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. So as of right now, our Easter design contest, which is going to be starting tomorrow. Okay. The deadline to enter, as you can see from Skittles there, is March 29th. And the contest, we are going to be giving away 3 prizes in the contest, courtesy of our friends at Premium Balloon Accessories, a brand new sponsor to Float for 2022. They've actually sponsored Float before, but they just signed on the other day to sponsor Float 2022, which means they'll have a booth in the vendor showcase, and it means that they're providing the prizes from a generous place in their hearts. So let's give it up to our friends at Premium Balloon Accessories for that. So basically, what's going to happen is we're going to give away 3 prizes in this contest. We're giving away the best bunny sculpture. So in other words, if you make a sculpture of a bunny, okay, or a rabbit, that would count as a bunny sculpture, okay? The next category is best design using a bunny balloon. In other words, let's say you're not a real heavy duty twister, or let's say you're not a sculptor per se, but you're really, really good at tableaus, as I call them, or marquees, as you may call them, or whatever you want to call them, or let's say you've got a stuffed balloon concept that's just adorable or whatever. All you have to do is use a prefabbed bunny balloon. Now, it cannot be a balloon with a bunny print on it. In other words, it cannot be a round balloon with a bunny print. It's got to be a rabbit shaped balloon. Okay, so there you go. So that's number 2. And number 3, yes, Crystal, you like that, don't you? And number 3, This is my favorite category. Best essence of bunny design. Here, what does this mean exactly? Essence of bunny is not a perfume available, from Paris. It is basically using elements of a bunny in your design. So in other words, let's say you made an arch that has big bunny ears on it. Or let's say you made something with whiskers and the nose and the buck teeth on it or something like that. And it's not a full representation of the rabbit, but it's enough of one that you can get what it is, right? That would be considered essence of bunny. So there you have it. There is a question, Tabitha Miller: does it have to be new, or can it be or not be a recycled design? Um, Ideally, the intention here is new, um, but I'm not going to turn somebody away if they've got one that they've done before. Um, but again, the intention, just know that the intention is, so in other words, if it's something you've made before and you can easily remake it, I would just highly recommend that you remake it. But then again, who knows? Hello, Christy. Good to see you. Um, so that is the contest. So again, the deadline for entries is March 29th. We will be posting the winners on Easter Sunday, which is April 4th. So that will be available soon for you to see. So again, and right now, by the way, the complete rules are currently available on the website at floatconvention.com. When you go to the website, on the far right hand side is the I think it's more options or whatever. It says, it's like register, hotel, classes, whatever, more. Click on the more, and then there's a contest page. Click on that, and then that's where you'll see the same exact photo with Skittles, and you'll see the rules there for the contest. So by all means, you are welcome to enter. You can enter as many times as you want. You don't just have to enter once. But remember, though, do not submit collages as entries. Submit one photo per entry. Okay? So that is our new contest. And that's going on, like I said, right now. So you'll need. Okay, so Tabitha Miller, I need to see how to submit because Christy is making me or has me making a bunny this week. Well, then there you go. So there you have it. Go to the contest page at floatconvention.com. You can get all the details there. Okay. I had an interesting conversation the other day with somebody, and I knew that this conversation was eventually going to happen. I didn't think it was going to come this quickly, but then again, with COVID, it kind of makes sense. The conversation was about canceling a registration. This particular individual called me up the other day, and they said, "Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm still going to be in the business much longer. It's not. They don't really have the passion for it anymore. COVID kind of exacerbated that situation. They're just not. And this happens every convention. Every convention, there's always X amount of people that don't come back to float because they just got out of the balloon business. And that happens. I mean, it happens with any industry, right? People, especially small business ownership, people decide to do something else or whatever. And let's face it, in COVID, there's been a lot of, heaven forbid, pivoting. And some people have looked at it and said, wow, I'm doing so much better now with this side thing as opposed to what I was doing. So why would I keep doing this, right? So the conversation was, what do I do about canceling? So I'm going to take a minute tonight to explain the cancellation policy to everybody so that everybody understands very clearly and upfront. And I'm going to, we're going to probably touch on this every once in a while in the step chat, just so people know and so people are very aware. And so I'm being very open about it. Here's what you have to do to cancel your registration to float. You have to connect with me and say, Steve, I can't come to float. Or Steve, I want to cancel my registration. That's it. That's it. As long as you do this before January 3rd, 2022, okay, as long as you reach out to me and say, Steve, I have to cancel my registration, you are entitled to a partial refund of the money you put in, and then we're done. I don't need an excuse. I don't need a reason. I don't need a doctor's note. I don't need anything. Okay? At the end of the day, all I need is you saying, I can't come. I'm not going. That's it. I need to cancel. Fantastic. No problem at all. So how do I send you your money? Now, let's talk about what this all means, and then I'm going to explain another side of this. So when you cancel your registration for float, if you are if you're fully or partially paid, there's a difference. If you are fully paid for float and you paid in one lump sum, or you were part of the 75 for 75 program, right? Remember that first $75 you put down last year? That you were told from the get-go, that money is non-refundable, okay? So that would be your penalty. So if you paid $350 to come to float, plus you paid the $7 or whatever Planet Reg fee, whatever it turned out to be, you don't get the Planet Reg fee back. We've already talked about this a dozen times. You don't get that money back because Planet Reg charges you that fee for filling out the form. That's it. That money's gone the moment you hit send. Okay, that's done. Then you also lose the $75 fee that you registered with. Okay, so you would then get everything else back. So if you paid $350, you'd get $275 back, and you're good. If you signed up for float under the payment plan, right, at $5.99, which not many of you, but some people have done since January kicked in, right? Your initial payment was $150 plus a $9 Planet Reg fee. That money is non-refundable. That was told to you then. That money is absolutely non-refundable. However, any other money that you've paid in, you're entitled to get back. Christy Carpenter, what is that noise in the background? That is the heater that just came on. So it comes on just about every episode now at some point. So, yeah, there's that. Down the road, once we get to selling master classes, once we get to bonus classes, if we can do bonus classes this year, once we get to all that stuff, if you've bought those, if you bought a notebook, if you bought anything, if you bought the video package we talked about, if you buy anything else, you're technically entitled to all that money back too. Okay, I'm not trying to screw anybody out of anything. Okay, at the end of the day, if you can't come, there's your money back and you're fine. Now, here's the other thing, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, because there's a couple people that have expressed this. Excuse me. When we started the 75 for 75 program, there was no consideration that we might have to require masking at float. Okay? We didn't know. In May of last year, nobody had any clue that we'd still be dealing with this. Nobody still thought we'd be doing all this, right? And they're still talking about the possibility of having to mask in 2022, especially if we're doing large numbers of people, okay? Oh, is that what it is? Tabitha. Yeah, that's nice. So with that being said, some people signed up for float and have made it very clear, I refuse to wear a mask. I get it. That's fine. If you signed up in May of last year with the 75 for 75 program and you're an absolute, I refuse to go to float if you make me wear a mask, and if we have to make you wear a mask, then I'm going to refund all of your money because you signed up for float under a different set of pretexts. And I totally get that. I really do. It's not fair to charge you that $75 penalty because in your logic, and justifiably so, you would never have signed up in the first place if you knew we'd have to do this. So it doesn't, now the Planet Reg fee, I can't, that's done, that's gone. But the $75, yeah, I will gladly refund that. Because again, the terms of the deal had to change. You didn't agree to that. Now remember, if you signed up for float after the 75 for 75 program, you don't have that option. Because by then you knew this was a possibility. We've been talking about this possibility now since I think August of last year. So, yeah, hello, Gabby. You get out of it if you enrolled in the 75 for 75 program. But remember, getting out of it means you get all your money back and you're not coming to float. Okay? Now, let me share a couple other things. So I mentioned to you already that as long as you do this before January 3rd, I don't need an excuse in the world. And I don't want one. I really don't. Just say, Steve, I can't come to float. But after January 3rd, on January 4th, I don't want an excuse either, because then you're too late. You are now about 3 weeks from the start of float. At that point, all of your money has been sent to the hotel. Okay? All of your money is in the hands of the teachers. All your money is in the hands of all these other people. For me, this is like somebody calling you the night or two before their event, after you've blown everything up and built it all, and say, yeah, we're not going to do it now. So can I have a refund? You've already done the work. That's how it works. So, I'm really sorry. Gabby, I'll get to you in just a second. And I'm really sorry, and I'm not trying to be insensitive. It doesn't matter what your excuse is. I'm not trying to be mean about it. It doesn't matter if you have a medical emergency. It doesn't matter if you have a child that's sick. It doesn't matter if all of a sudden you're afraid you don't want to, oh, I got COVID. I can't come now. Sorry, guys. After January 3rd, that's gone. Okay? So consider that, consider that that's your point of no return. Okay? My favorite one of all time, it was 2019. I was sitting in my office at Float. It was a Friday, and it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. And somebody called me and said, our kids got sick. We can't leave now. We can't possibly leave them alone. We're not going to be able to come. So how do I get my money back? And I'm like, this convention starts in like 12 hours. 18 hours. No. At that point, your money's gone. Your money's spent. The hotel, I don't get money back from you now from the hotel. I don't get all this other. The best thing you should do is go and cancel your hotel room, right? And hope you weren't booked in before then. So remember, up until January 3rd, it doesn't matter what your reason is to cancel. You can cancel and there's no problem. You get most of your money back. After January 3rd, there are no excuses either. You don't need an excuse. You can't, I'm not going to take them, because at that point you're just done. And no, you can't roll it over for the next convention, because again, the money's still spent. I understand that life sucks. We've all gone through an entire year of life sucks, right? Okay. Hey, Seth, good to see you. Now, here's the one thing, though, that I want to share with everybody about cancellation. If you know, okay, all right, well, let me try this again. So let's say you're on the fence, right? You're like, I'm not sure if I'm still going to be doing balloons or not, or I don't know if this is, maybe, I don't know. Then my suggestion is wait, okay? Wait until December to make that decision. And everybody's like, oh, well, Steve just doesn't want to give up the money. No, that's not it. That's not it. The bottom line is, okay, if you already know that you're getting out of the balloon world and you're not going to do it anymore, then cancel. It doesn't make any sense not to. Just cancel and don't come. And we get it. And I wish you the absolute best of luck with your new career. But what I'm saying is, if you're doing it because it's money or whatever, or whatever, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford the hotel. I don't know if I'm going to be able to this or that. If it's a money situation, then you should absolutely sit and wait. And here's why. There's several reasons why, actually. First of all, remember that there are lots of perks to being in the float family. All right, I'm looking at my cheat sheet. For example, we just posted a contest today. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, in order to be eligible for the contest that we're doing right now, you have to be fully paid for float. All right, so that's a benefit, right? Also, float foundation classes. The class Tuesday is free for you. Why? Because you're registered for float. If it's all the other classes, if you're at least pre-registered for float, you get a discount on those classes. So there are absolute benefits in that regard for you to keep your membership. Okay. Another one is the float forum. If you're fully paid, you've been invited into the float forum. The float forum is the exclusive group just for people that have paid for float to talk about ideas. This guy without all the same, how much should I charge for this? What color is this? What blah, 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 right? So you should absolutely consider it for the forum. Now, keep in mind, if you're not fully paid, you're not in the forum. So that could be a thing for you or not. Exactly, Gabby, the free class, right? Okay, now here's another thing. And this happens every convention. Every convention this happens. Somebody signed up at the $350 price point to come to float. Steve, I got to cancel. Okay, here's your money back. Great. 4 months from now. Hey, guess what? Business picked up. I'm coming back to float. Hey, can I still get that $350 person? No, you can't. You cannot have the discount back. When you release the discount, you release the discount. I'm still doing twice as much work because when you canceled, all of that stuff goes out. Then we got to put you all back in again, and we got to put you in 3 different places and blah, blah, blah. No. No. When you're out, you're out. If you come back in, you come back in as if you were a new delegate. Okay? So again, if you're just on the fence, sit and wait until December, because I'm telling you, if you wait until the 3rd of December if you wait until the 3rd of January, if you wait until December or even the 3rd of January to cancel your registration, you get to keep all the benefits and still have the option to cancel and not lose anything else, right? So, I mean, you're not going to, okay, if you cancel today, if you cancel your registration today and you paid $350, you're going to get $275 back. If you don't pay any more money into it and you cancel on January 3rd, you get $275 back. And at the same time, you get $10 off X amount of class between now and then. You've got access to the forum. You've got access to contests and things that other people don't. It's up to you, okay? So there is a benefit to you keeping your registration at least partially intact between now and then. This is not Steve's trying to keep your money. If you really want it back, no, you don't even have to add. What email address am I sending your money to? And we're done. It's that simple, okay? I really mean it. Our registration policy used to be that you had to cancel by December 1st. And I'm just like, wow, that was just too far out. So now we've backed it up as far as we possibly can. But again, I now have a no tolerance policy, okay? The trade-off between letting you go all the way to January 3rd is the no tolerance policy on January 4th. And at that point, it doesn't matter what your excuse is. It doesn't matter. At that point, I'm sorry, if you can't come, your registration is gone. Okay? That's the deal. That's the trade-off. All right. Okay, so as I promised, Christy got a little excited earlier today. We have some new merch that I'm kind of excited about. Coming your way very soon to the Float store. Oh, I can't really understand people cancel. I'm so excited. Oh, well, Gabby, people cancel for different reasons. I mean, they do. People, there's some people get really excited about going to a convention, but they don't think about all the other costs involved. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. You get people that, okay, I got my money together for Float, and they pay off the registration. But they didn't think about the fact that, oh, my airfare is going to be $400. Oh, I got to have somewhere to stay when I'm there. Well, that could be another $400 or $500, $600. Oh, gee, I like to eat, right? And then let's talk about when you get there, there's all kinds of fun things you want to buy. So, going to a convention is far more than just the convention. We all know it, right? I mean, it's a reality. Um, and so when you go to these events and things like that, you're looking at added costs. Everybody loves to throw the cost of the convention at you, but you need to think about all the other related costs that go with it before you can actually decide. That was one of the things that used to frustrate me really badly was that, well, I mean, nothing personal, but the World Balloon Convention offered a bunch of discounts at one point to where, like, if you were a CBA and you were some other things, your registration was down to like $450. And at the time, float's registration was $550. The max price, right? Like the total cost for the convention. And people would call me and be like, your price is $100 more. That's not fair. And I'm like, have you really done the math on this? Because yes, it's true. My convention is $100 more, but the hotel room is $100 a night less. So if you're getting your own room, right? Yes, my convention's $100 more, but you're also getting, but you're also going to spend $500 more there for the hotel. Oh, and by the way, at the time, there were some other things involved that were included for free with Float that wasn't included at the other event. But then they'd still look at me and be like, but you're $100 more. No, we're really not. So you really got to think about all that fun stuff put together. So it's really kind of important. So yeah, so I don't really blame people when they register and then they bail out, because again, so many, especially new people, especially the newbies, the newer people, I should say, they just don't realize how much these things cost until they start doing the math. And 9 times out of 10, they don't start doing the math until the last 30 days before the convention. So that's the thing. All right, now I'm clearly driving Christy a bit crazy. So we have 3 new t-shirt designs that are coming out very soon. They were actually, I wanted to put them on the store tonight, but I didn't because I need to confirm the style of the shirt and the sizes, okay? Before I begin, I want to reiterate, I shouldn't say style of the shirt, the make of the shirt. I want to reiterate, these are all going to be unisex shirts, okay? All pre-washed or pre-shrunk unisex shirts. I can't get into the whole, can they be crew neck, can they be V-neck, no. So let me share with you. So let's start the very first one. This is one that I actually came up, Matt, I asked about hoodies. And I know Christy's asking about hoodies also. I've asked and asked and asked. I will follow up again tomorrow. Every time I talk to him, he keeps saying, oh yeah, we can get them. And that's the end of the conversation. So clearly he doesn't deal in a lot of hoodies. So I think he's trying to get samples in. Let me find out what's going on. Okay. So with that being said, I actually came up with this shirt idea about 6 months ago in the heart and the heat of COVID. And I was actually I thought this was kind of cute. So this is our proud latex responder shirt. So basically, with all the emphasis on everything else, and remember, in a lot of places around the country, balloon people were not considered essential, right? Even though we all know damn well that bringing people joy is a big deal. So we created this shirt design of the proud latex responder. And the idea here is that obviously you get to wear it loud and proud. Yes, we bootleg the fire department logo concept there and put a balloon bouquet in it. So yeah, so that's one of our shirt designs that'll be going up for sale very soon in the next day or two. Let's see here. The next one is coming up next. I think Christy's going to probably really like this one. I think everybody, I'm just going to let it speak for itself. Yeah, this one I think is kind of a big deal at Float. Um, it's obviously in Float orange. That way we can have the ability there to be part of opening night and all the fun stuff that goes along with that. But this particular design obviously is intended for both as a marker for people that enjoy the concept of getting hugged and everybody else that's been talking about, being disappointed that they haven't been able to handle people and everything else. So the idea here is that you can tell the world, yes, you can hug me. And if you look very closely, the float balloon is the O and the U. So, and by the way, both of these designs have the float logo on the back of the shirts. So there's that. And then finally, we have one more design that some of you don't know much about. And this is kind of an inside thing. And some of you have heard hints about it here and there and whatever. But I'm actually very, very, very proud of this one. Not that I'm not proud of the others, but the Independence Latex Workers Local 37. Now, let me explain. For those of you that don't understand what this is, the Independent Latex Workers Local 37 is actually the labor union for Float. And you can tell because if you look at the float balloon has been converted into a union-style cogwheel. And if you look down there, you see the nozzle at the bottom. So it's the float balloon that's basically just been modified into a union label. And so yes, the idea is that we're proud, independent, business owners, that kind of thing. This shirt, it's not on a mock-up for a shirt yet. I need to talk to our shirt guy about the possibility of what color is going to work best. I honestly think this is going to end up being a gray shirt like our logo shirt is. Yeah, so there's that. So yeah, overall, so those are 3 of the new shirts that are headed your way. I hope to have them on the store very soon. They're not there yet. They will be on the orange store, okay? They'll be listed on the website on the orange store. And there's going to be 2 options. Option number 1 is that you can pre-order the shirt and pick it up at the convention. Or option number 2 is you can pay a little bit extra and have it shipped to you now. So it just depends on what route you want to go. Yeah, Christy, I was thinking gray would look good on that shirt too. Yeah, with the T-shirt idea that we did with the logo, I wanted it to get in people's hands, and that's why we went with a very expensive T-shirt. To be honest with you, we went with a really high quality shirt. So I mean, with the free shipping, I mean, we're not trying to make money on that shirt. It's just let's let people get it out there and let people see it. With these, it's not like we're trying to make a profit per se on it as much. I mean, we're not trying to make. I mean, we got to make a few bucks on each shirt to make worth the time, right? But at the same time, the option here is that this way you can either pre-order. No, there's no pre-order discount. The discount applied to pre-order is that if you just don't pay for shipping, then you'll pick it up at Float. So it'll be cheaper if you just wait and pick up your shirt at Float. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, that's how that goes. So yeah, so that's the merch. That's the new merch that's coming your way to Float. And if you want them now, yes, by all means, you can get. No, we're not. No. We're not doing bulk discounts. We're not doing anything. Now, what I will tell you is this. No. We can't do it. Like I said, I can't pay you to buy the shirts. Does that make sense? There's not enough money on these shirts to do that kind of thing. The T-shirt business is not a profit center for this convention. It's not. Yeah. It's fun, it's marketing, and there you go. So that's how it's going to work. So there you have it. That's the merch, the new merch heading your way. And there's more coming too. Again, yes, we're working on hoodies. I'm absolutely working on trying to get Float hoodies. Some of the folks have been asking about the fleece jackets that we had at the last convention. This is not one of them, by the way. I just happen to be wearing a jacket. The fleece jackets are, yes, I understand a girl has to ask. The fleece jackets, I don't want to order more of them until I know what's in storage. I'll be actually going to St. Louis in, I think, August to handle the transition of getting our stuff moved. And when I do that, I plan on pulling the inventory out, and then we'll deal with that kind of stuff. Then that way we know what to order and what not to order for float. Um, but like, like the trucker caps and all that other stuff. I mean, we have all that stuff now. So there's, some things I need to order, some things I don't. And so I don't. And the problem is, what we don't want to do is we don't want to run into. Yes, absolutely, float hoodies for the Pacific Northwest. What I don't want to do, float patches. We talked about that. I don't know. I would be more inclined to get a float pin before I get a float patch. And even then, it's a cost thing. See, here's the problem with a lot of the merch stuff. It's fun to have. It's fun to have available, but it's a lot of work to come up with it, and we don't make enough money off of it to justify the labor in most cases. And I'm not trying to be mean about it, and I'm certainly not trying to be insensitive. It's just at some point in the game, we're doing. I mean, right now we do a lot of work for float that isn't connected to a profit center. So at some point you have to decide where you start redirecting your energy. And I don't want to I don't want to redirect my energy, so to speak, on a whole ton of merch. We've talked about a huge variety of things. We talked about pins, we talked about shirts, we talked about gear, we talked about backpacks, and we talked about all kinds of other stuff. Last year we bought the tote bags. Thank you, Stephanie, Miss Stephanie. That is the perfect example right there. The last convention, we had people asking for tote bags, float, like duffel bags, to take on the plane because they buy too much stuff and then they need a bag. So we bought these bags. We barely sold any. You know what I mean? It's just at some point you have to decide, is it worth the investment or not? And the issue with the t-shirts, for example, this is something that I've run into now a couple times, is that if you buy the shirts under your best guess, right? And so you buy these shirts hoping that people will buy them, but you never necessarily know what size to get. And so at float, the same thing always happens. We run out of one size almost immediately, right? And then more people can't get shirts because we don't have those sizes. I still have shirts from the very first float convention. We still have shirts from the very first float convention that we couldn't sell. In fact, I'm almost positive that the white ones have turned like yellow now because they're like well over 10 years old. They're like 12 years old, right? So we have to be careful with how we do that stuff. That's one of the reasons why, to be honest with you, I was really open to the idea of the pre-ship, of buying everything and pre-shipping it out, because we were able then to better guesstimate what we need. And so we now know that when it comes to actually float the convention itself, we don't have to guess as much because we've already sold a lot of inventory. Almost all the women's shirts that we've ordered have been sold, and we've actually had to replace some shirts. Now the men's, on the other hand, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I way overbought men's clothes. I don't know why, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll sell them off at the convention. And again, at some point, if we run out of V-neck, you have no choice but to get a unisex shirt. So there you have it. You should put old merch up in the store. That is certainly an idea. Again, we've got to. Okay, so Tabitha, expanded vendor area coming up at this float. Put it out there. You're actually, I don't know, have you been to the website? Because that is absolutely what's happening. For those of you that don't know, this year, because we have an expanded floor space for the convention, for the vendor showcase, we have 2 different rooms now. One of the rooms features all 6 manufacturers, and the other room doesn't. And so a lot of the vendors over here are complaining that, well, nobody's going to come over here because we're not over there. And I'm like, that's not true. Everybody's still going to come over. But one of the things that we did in order to compensate for that is we decided to move the orange store into a booth at the trade show. So now in the second room will be the orange store. And I don't know that I've actually told you guys this publicly. I know that I've told the sponsors, but I don't know that I've told you. We have made we've made a couple of dramatic changes actually this year to the vendor showcase, which I think is actually a really good thing for you, the attendee, and for the vendors, even though they don't necessarily agree. Not all of them. Some do, some don't. But that's the way it always is, right? So this year, the vendor showcase has been expanded to 3 days. The vendor showcase this year will actually start on Sunday, January 23rd. So the day that a lot of people are just milling about and visiting with each other and hanging out and getting ready for opening night, right? The vendor showcase will actually be open on Sunday from 12 to 5 o'clock. So that way you get an opportunity to go in. If you're not taking any of the master classes those days, or if you're not competing, you have the ability to go into the vendor showcase a day ahead and go in and do your shopping or do whatever, speak to the vendors, get whatever. We also did this out of concern for possible COVID situations, right? Because the concern was, did I address master classes in the workshop? Not yet. No, not yet. I can talk about that in a minute, though. So basically, vendor showcase starts on Sunday. It continues on Monday, same hours, 12 to 5 on Monday. And then on Tuesday, it's actually abbreviated. It's like 11 to 3 or 11 to 2. I can't remember which it is exactly. But the reason that we've done this is because of another change that we've made. So, on Monday at Float, the vendor showcase opens at 11:30, and there's always a big line of people, right? And they always crash the vendor showcase. And then for the most part, that first 2 hours, the vendor showcase is really busy. And then it kind of fiddles out after that because of the way the wave hits. Well, the good news this time is that we're actually adjusting the class schedule. Okay. So what's going to actually happen is this time around, you're going to have your 8 o'clock class on Monday. You're going to have your 10 o'clock class on Monday. Then there's not going to be another class. Normally the next class is at 1:30 because it's 11:30 to 1:30. But then the problem is too, you got to get lunch in there, right? So what we're doing now is we're actually going the next class at 2:30. So you have time to get lunch and you have another 2 hours or so. You have basically 3 hour window to go into the vendor showcase to both rooms of the vendor showcase. Okay. Then what happens is then there's a class from 2:30 to 4. Then class picks up again, 5:30, I think. So what'll happen is at that point, the vendor showcase is up until 5. So if you want to go from 4:30, if you want at 4 o'clock, you want to go back to the vendor showcase for a minute or two, that's great. If not, the vendors aren't stuck there all night. They're done too, and it's short and it's easy. On Tuesday, we're making another adjustment because Monday night, if you haven't looked at the schedule yet, Monday night is the brand new beach party that's taking place at Float. Our first time ever doing a regular beach party on Monday night. Because there's going to be dancing and all kinds of fun and blah, blah, blah. And because nobody's going home the next day, we presume that there might be some pretty heavy partying going on that night. So class the next day doesn't start until 9 a.m. Okay, so we go 9 to 10:30. Then we go 11 to 12:30. With the vendor showcase opening again at 12. Okay. Then what'll happen is that then there's that gap again, and then you pick up again at 2:30 or whatever for the class. Okay. So the idea there is to kind of adjust your life a little bit. But on Tuesday, the vendor showcase isn't going to be nearly as busy. And then at 3 o'clock, when you guys go back to, no, Tabitha, it's not opening night. Opening night is Sunday. The beach party is a brand new social event. It's all on the calendar. See, the problem is now you're showing me that you didn't read the emails. Just saying. But so, just kidding. So at the end of the day, the idea there is that on Tuesday, the vendors have always complained that Tuesday is the slowest day of all. And in fact, some of the vendors were even like, do we even have to have Tuesday? I'm like, well, of course you have to have Tuesday because you can't, Trust me, I've done trade shows that are just one day, and everybody does the same thing. People come by the booth and then they go, "Well, I'll see you tomorrow." No, we're not here tomorrow. Oh yeah, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Then they come back tomorrow and you're not there. So the bottom line is that by having it multiple days. But what happens is when the students go back to class on Tuesday in the afternoon, then the trade show's done. At that point, they break their booths down and it's over. Okay. So there you go. So we've really ramped up the vendor showcase for you guys. We've really tried to make it bigger and better. I mean, there's more than 70 booth spaces in the show. Now, that doesn't mean there's going to be 70 vendors, because you have to remember there's a lot of booths that have been double booked. Like a lot of vendors have bought 2 booths. So those are booth spaces. So, you could have, like, for example, the 6 manufacturer sponsors, they take up 12 booth spaces. So there you go. But as of right now, there are just over 70 booth spaces in the trade show this year. So regardless of how many come, it's going to be the biggest one we've ever had. And frankly, right now, we have more vendors already signed up for Float than we've ever had. And there's still 10 months to go. So I'm very optimistic on that. Okay, a question was raised about master classes and the workshop and everything else. Here's what I can tell you right now about that. There's not a lot I can tell you so far. Here's what I do know, okay? On Saturday, we know that David and Amanda Mahoney are doing an all-day workshop. It is an 8-hour program, okay? It's going to be 4 hours, then a lunch break, and then 4 hours. We are still working out the details of this workshop. I can tell you that it will not be an inexpensive workshop, okay? It will be, it's not going to be more than the convention, but it's not going to be inexpensive. That's all I'm going to say. When you look at what you're getting for it, yes, it is very inexpensive, but you know what I'm saying. So that's going to be going on Saturday. That's an all-day thing. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. If you are competing at Float, you probably don't want to enroll in that program because there's 3 competitions on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. Okay. On Saturday afternoon, there will be 2 unnamed master classes. Okay. At this point, we do not have instructors yet for those master classes. So that is something that is coming. Those will be announced as we get closer to the convention. Okay. And when I say closer to the convention, I'm thinking like September. Why? Because the way things have been going lately, there are so many trends that just pop up out of nowhere. We want to make sure that we're not pigeonholing ourselves too early with the convention. So I'm intentionally leaving some spots open to see what happens in the next 6 months before we choose instructors for those spots. Okay. On Sunday, here's what we know. On Sunday, there will be not 1, but 2 master classes presented by the dynamic duo of Mr. Matthew Lewis and Mr. Stuart Davies. What the content of those classes are is yet to be determined. And Mr. Lewis, in his incredibly clever way, let it slip in his podcast that apparently he's not one to be often tied down as far as what he's actually going to be teaching. So Mr. Lewis and I are going to have an extensive conversation about that topic. So there's that. So yes, Matt and Stuart will be co-teaching. I'm sure they'll have t-shirts on identifying themselves because, that's a thing. And that'll be going on. There's 2 different sessions. So it's not like Mahoney. It's 2 different classes. One class will be in the morning. One class will be in the afternoon. They are separate classes. So you will have to enroll in them separately. Gabby Rivera, am I teaching? Absolutely not. I will not be instructing at Float 2022. I especially cannot do a master class. And I'll explain that in just a minute. Now, there are 2 other masterclass spots that are taking place on Sunday. One of them's in the morning, one of them's in the afternoon. One of them we have already announced and have already confirmed. That is with Mr. Josh Dirks. Josh is an internet social media marketing guru who I can't legally say who he's been an advisor to, but let's just say his name rhymes with Park Zuckerberg. I'm saying. So Josh is going to be doing a 4-hour intense social media networking strategy masterclass for you. And then there is another masterclass that will be taking place that day. I am very happy to say that we confirmed the instructor today, but we're not prepared to announce it yet. So you'll just have to wait. So there you go. Miss Stephanie, I must have frozen up there. Miss Stephanie, will the masterclass be held at the same time of the certification exam? If you are referring to the Certified Balloon Professional exam, which is taking place for the very first time at Float, no, the exam is on Friday. The CBP exam is on Friday. Now, the Certified Balloon Artist testing presented by Qualitex, I believe, is Sunday. So that is in conflict with Mr. Lewis's and Mr. Davies and at least one other person's masterclass. So that's what you need to get. But no, the Certified Balloon Professional exam will be taking place on Friday the 21st, completely separate from everything else. In fact, I believe that's probably the only thing happening that day. Okay. I think I've covered everything as far as that goes. Oh, so Gabby, let me explain. Gabby asked a question, am I going to be teaching it? No. So it was Float 2013. I taught a linking balloon masterclass. And I was extremely poorly prepared. It's not because I'm a bad teacher. It's not because of anything. It's not because of it. It's because of the fact that I was so busy being in charge of the convention. I did not provide myself with adequate time to prep for my class. So unfortunately, what ended up happening was I would have to probably say 2.5, maybe even 3 hours of my class was spent people watching me inflate balloons. And that just is not good. That's not a good class. When I taught at Burton and Burton 4 years ago for their Balloon University program, I spent a day and a half prepping everything from my 2 classes so that I wouldn't have to prep it. So everything would be inflated when people came in. That way I could cover as much material as possible. And thankfully I had some help. I had some people that came in and helped me out with some things, and that was really nice and greatly appreciated. But yeah, so there's that. Okay, question, would there be an early bird discount for the workshop or the masterclass? Absolutely not. No, I'm sorry. We already give so many discounts away for the convention. There is, I will say flat out that there is a discount that is being presented this, all right, well, let me back up a little bit. Yes, there is a discount if we're able to do it. The discount is called the flotation program, the flotation pass. But I still have to work up the price on it, and that's based on whether or not we can even do it. The flotation pass is basically a bulk price for every single option at the convention. But what you have to understand is that this year, there are so many new elements in the mix. The Mahoney workshop is just one thing. We've also talked about the whole video package that we're offering this year, right? Where does that, I mean, I still have to work on, everybody's like, well, how much is it? How much is it? I don't know. And also keep in mind, we don't know how much, we don't know if we're even going to be allowed to do the flotation pass. Because one of the benefits of the flotation pass is it literally allows you to float between paid classes, okay? So for example, if you wanted to go from, say, let's say that you want to go in between Josh's masterclass and Matt's masterclass, okay? So let's say you want to just, Oh, I'm kind of bored. Matt Lewis. Oh, he thinks he's so funny. Blah, blah, blah. Just kidding, Matt. I'm going to go check out the social media class. You can't do that. You buy one class and that's where you go. You can't jump back and forth between the two. With the flotation pass, you can. You can literally say, oh, I can tell the difference between Matt and Stuart. I get it. I'm going over here now. And so they go over there. With the flotation pass, you have that option. You don't have it any other way. The problem is this. I did actually answer that question, I think, but let me come back to Saskia. Let me come back to that. So with COVID, we don't know if we can do the master classes, or we don't know if we can do the flotation pass yet. Because if we have to limit the number of people that are in a classroom, that does not allow for people to float back and forth between rooms, because then we have too many people in a room. So there's that. The other discount, though, that we are talking about doing is something called the Master Class Master Pass. Because of our new venue this year, because of our new expenses and everything else, the master classes have been raised to $99 each this year. So if you want to take one of the 4-hour classes that are offered before the convention, it's $99 for each one of those. But if you buy a masterclass master pass, you get 3 of them for $75 each. So it would be $225. But you get to pick one class per session. Okay. So again, it's not like the flotation pass. You don't get to go between the 2 classes here, and the 2 classes here, and the 2 classes here. What it is you pick one class on Saturday, you pick one class on Sunday morning, you pick one class on Sunday afternoon. No, you can't pick 2 in the morning this day and 1 in the afternoon that day. It's 1, 1, and 1. And that allows you, and that'll save $75 off of that. So basically, you're almost getting 1 for free, is what it boils down to. You're only paying $25 for the 3rd class. So that's a thing. Saskia, when will the master classes be to purchase? September, October. We're not going to be, like I said, we're not going to sell anything there until they're all announced, because here's the problem. If I start selling masterclass spots right now, okay, let's say that we sign people up for Matt and Stuart, okay, and then we announce this new instructor coming later, and people are like, oh my God, I'd rather take that class. So now I'm shuffling around and I'm doing all this other stuff, and now I'm going through and I'm switching people and this and that. Oh, well, you know what? Well, now that I see all the teachers that are teaching, I think I do want that master pass. Can I just do this? And then I'm doing all kinds of booking stuff, and I'm doing, it's way too much work. So the bottom line is we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to wait till they're all available, and then you can buy them all at one time. Okay. And that's how it's going to work. Thank you for understanding. Okay. So with that being said, it's after 7. Hey, we just hit 37 and now we're at 38. There you go. Okay. Finally hit 37 that I saw. Slow night tonight. Guess I'm boring people. That, or people got wind of last week's step chat. Don't go back. So really quickly, let me take a few minutes to recap everything. Just the essential stuff that we talked about before. Don't forget, if you are at least pre-registered for Float 2022, don't forget that your free class with Jeff Kelly is Tuesday. You should have received an email in your inbox on Thursday of last week. Do not message me. Do not message me at 2:00 on Tuesday. I didn't get the email. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go now. Try to find it now. Go look. Remember, look in the email that you register for Float with. Check your spam folders, your bulk folders, your promotion folders, your junk folders. Search your email for info@floatconvention.com. Okay? That's how you're going to find it. That's how you're going to find the email. And it says right in the name, Jeff Kelly. Okay? Jeff Kelly, Kelly. Boom. There you go. That class is Tuesday. Please do not frantically message me. 30 minutes before the class that you can't find the information, because I promise you at that point, I am way too busy dealing with other people. And you're just going to have to wait till the replay. That's all I can tell you. Yes, there is a free replay for the class. You'll get up to 4 weeks to watch it again or over and over and over for free. You can take all the notes you want. You can do all that fun stuff. And yes, there will be a $5 option for you to purchase the video at the end if you want to. Okay? Don't forget, we have a brand new design contest at floatconvention.com under the contest page. I'll be posting more about it tomorrow in the group, but it is basically the Easter design contest sponsored by our friends at Premium Balloon Accessories, a brand new sponsor to Float 2022. 3 different contests, 3 different designs, all related to bunnies. So make sure you check that out. If for some reason you need to cancel your registration to Float, by all means, you don't have to give me an excuse. You just have to make sure you do it by January 3rd. But remember, you get a lot of perks between now and January 3rd. So if you're on the fence about canceling, you should sit on it till later in the year before then make your decision. That way you still get to take advantage of the benefits of being in the Float family and being all this other stuff before you just throw it away. And finally, later this week, we will have not 1, not 2, but 3 new shirts available in the Float Orange store. Looking forward to seeing which ones light up your life in particular. And you'll be given 2 options. You can get the option to either save $5 off the shirt, like how I said that, by waiting until Float gets here to pick it up at the convention, or you can pay the extra $5 and have it shipped to you in advance. Okay? So that is basically everything I have for tonight. That was covered. That was essential. Everything else just kind of came about afterwards. I know that many of you, are looking forward to the Roscoe fix once again. So for those of you that missed the very first part of the show, there's the hardworking co-star. As you can see, he is thoroughly enjoying his brand new state-of-the-art condominium complex. And I should note, how many of you guys got the kit from Metallic with the new colors in it, right? Am I the only person that thought it was odd that they gave us a little planter? Well, Alexa said that Metallic gave Roscoe a housewarming gift. She's so brilliant. She is so funny. It's hilarious. Working with Alexa Rivera is a true privilege. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so guys, thank you all very much for coming tonight. I appreciate it. Don't forget that tomorrow night is the one and only T-Money Teresa Harding with TMI right here in the Float group at 5 p.m. Tuesday night, I believe Tony is back with us again this week on Tuesdays with Tony. So I look forward to that. And I look forward to seeing you all there. That is also 5 p.m. Pacific time in the Float Network. And finally, on Wednesday, join the ladies of Working Wonders, where I think they're finishing their 3-week tour on apps. I think this Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, is accounting apps that they're working on. So that's going to be Wednesday night, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you join them. And is there any catnip in the pot? Actually, believe it or not, there is a catnip plant under there. Right? Yes. Alexa bought a catnip clump or whatever. And what's funny is the rabbit eats more of it than Roscoe does. And we Googled it. It's safe, so that's fine. So with all that being said, thank you all very much. I really cannot tell you enough how much I appreciate you and how important you guys are to me as an individual. I really look forward to these Sunday night chats. It's really funny because at first I was like, why are we doing this? Like, because people at the convention were like, I'm really going to miss you not talking to us anymore. Keep in mind, all we were doing was like every night we were going on just to show you an update of what was happening with the convention. But it was really touching that so many people really enjoyed it. And so I'm still kind of surprised that so many of you tune in live. I'm still surprised that so many of you watch the replays and this and that. And I really appreciate it. And it's helped keep me focused during all this insanity. And it has really, really touched me in a way when so many of you reach out to me privately and message me about things we talk about here. And it really means a lot. And I really appreciate you guys in ways I can't even thoroughly describe. So thank you all for being the amazing. Uh, thank you for holding me up through all this. I really appreciate it. So on that note, guys, I'll see you next week. But I'll be on Tuesdays with Tony, so I'll see you there. And you guys have a good night. Talk soon.